Hey gang, it's Ross with TrainWise Fitness coming at you today with a road shoe review of the Newton Gravity 4. Alright, so here we are, fall, right in the midst of racing season and training season for a lot of you. Got a lot of marathons, half marathons, 5Ks, 10Ks all coming up, even extending out into that spring racing season. So what I'm going to show you today is the Newton Gravity 4. This is a high mileage trainer from Newton. Also great to be a racing shoe as well for those of you that want to get dual purposes out of your shoe. So first and foremost, I want to tell you one of the things I love about these shoes. The colors are extremely bright. I'm always a fan of bright shoes, highly reflective. I promise you these shoes will glow in the dark. All right, that's what makes this shoe really stand out in my mind. And a big reason I've always been a fan of Newton shoe products. So what Newton's done is they've taken all their shoes. They were the first company to really start taking these heel to toe drops and taking them way on down, compressing them from that 10 millimeter all the way down. This one's actually a 3 millimeter heel to toe drop, which is a pretty good drop. It allows your foot really to kind of land up underneath your body real well. And ever since Newton's been doing this, you'll notice a lot of other companies kind of kicked in and started reducing the drops on their shoes. Interesting story about Newton is they were the first to really adjust this heel to toe drop. That's because they hired in a really great sports rehab guy, and he helped in the design of these shoes. Originally they were looking to just create a new platform for shoes, and they were knocking on the doors of all the major shoe companies. After getting turned down by every one of them, they said, you know what, we're going to make our own shoe. As soon as they did, all the big companies took notice. Not unlike how Hoka did with the shoe market as well. Companies just took notice of what they were doing different. So what Newton did, again, really nice low drop. And they also added lugs on the bottom of these shoes. They kind of land right in the midfoot. This is where they call their POP1, which is the point of power. So when the shoe hits and your foot drives off, you're landing on that midfoot and pushing off. What these lugs do is they operate on Newton's second law of motion. For every action, there's an equal but opposite reaction. And so what happens is the lugs hit, they compress down and explode that energy back up to your leg. So the midsole of this shoe is created out of a EVA rubber compound. They also use, to coat the outsole, their Shark rubber compound, which is a super high abrasion rubber compound. And what that does is that's just going to help extend the life of these shoes. I've got probably about 30 miles on these shoes so far. Taking them out for a couple 5-mile, 6-mile runs. Do have a 12-mile run on them as well. That was just to really get a good feel for them. And I will say that as much as I love a lot of aspects of Newton, these shoes are not always the shoe for me. This is probably the second pair of Newtons I've tried out, going back to their original Sir Isaacs when they first came out. So what tends to happen for me on this shoe, and I'm going to go ahead and preface that it happens to me because I feel like I'm the only one that gets pain from Newton shoes, is right here where these lugs are. As a mid 4-foot runner, these things drive right into my metatarsal heads. And after about 4 or 5 miles, I start to actually get pain when running, including a little bit of numbness in the toes. And that's just because on me, this creates a pressure point in conjunction with the amount of hemolysis that continues, where those red blood cells are breaking apart with the impact my foot hits into the ground. So while I love a lot of aspects of these shoes, these are not necessarily my go-to road running or racing shoe. I'll run these for about a 5 or 10K and be okay. But really much longer than that, I'm not really keen on using them. What I will say though for Newton is there are a lot of runners that get a lot of great benefit out of these shoes. You see every marathoner has them. You go to a marathon, half marathon, 10K, you'll see a lot of runners running these. And a lot of times you'll notice that these are the runners that you're trying to chase down and catch. Okay, so this is a really high quality, well-made shoe. Great durable mesh, wonderful materials, a lot of reflectivity printed across it, and you get extremely bright colors. All right guys, thanks for checking out my review of the Newton Gravity 4. Hope you found it informative and interesting at least. Again, just to kind of recap, this is a wonderfully made shoe, really high quality products and materials, super lightweight, very breathable upper. Really nice 3mm heel to toe drop. I do like that drop a lot, even though I'm a little more at home in a 5 to 8. I didn't really have any issues with that. Again, not necessarily the shoe for me, but thousands upon thousands of other runners have found this to be a really good shoe. I just don't like where these lugs hit. They create a pressure point on me, which is why there's thousands of shoe products out there for runners like that. So this is a product I suggest you get your hands on, try it on, at least get a 1 or 2 mile run in it just to see how it feels on you. We'll take a little bit of an adjustment period if you're going from a higher toe drop, heel to toe drop. But otherwise, an excellent shoe and a good one for you to have in your quiver.